Following the release of Jaws in 1975, people around the world could be forgiven for developing galeophobia. That's the technical term for an irrational fear of sharks. Well, perhaps they aren't being so irrational after all. At least not after viewing this list of 10 strange and terrifying sharks. Let's begin. Number 10. Helicoprion. The only surviving evidence of the prehistoric shark Helicoprion is a tight, curled-up coil of triangular teeth, a bit like a fruit roll-up, but considerably deadlier. As far as paleontologists can tell, this bizarre structure was attached to the bottom part of Helicoprion's jaw. But exactly how it was used and on what prey remains a mystery. Some experts think the coil was used to grind away the shells of swallowed mollusks, while others think Helicoprion unfurled the coil explosively like a whip. Number 9. Stethecanthus. This prehistoric shark is a curious sight, partly due to the little spikes on its head, but mainly because it possessed an ironing board-shaped fin that jutted from its back, containing more little spikes on it. Scientists can't figure out what this growth was for, but one theory is that it was a way for males to dock with females during mating. Stethecanthus lived from the late Denovian to the early Carboniferous period, around 390 to 320 million years ago. Number 8. Hammerhead shark. The hammerhead shark gets its name from its unusual body, which is shaped like a hammer. Points deducted for a lack of creativity. Scientists believe that hammerhead sharks evolved their head as a way to improve their vision. With their eyes mounted perfectly on the ends, hammerhead sharks can see a full 360 degrees around them. Their unique head also makes them more agile hunters than other sharks by giving them the ability to make sharp turns in close surroundings. Number 7. The Megamouth shark. Very little is known about this large shark that was only discovered in 1976. Unlike other recently discovered species, the Megamouth has no living relatives and came as a complete surprise. In fact, biologists had to create a new family and genus to fit the shark into. The Megamouth is one of the most primitive sharks and is one of 3 species of plankton feeders, the others being the basking and whale sharks. Measuring up to 5 meters, the Megamouth is somewhat smaller than the other 2, but manages to make up for it by having a large head and huge mouth. The Megamouth has another trick up its sleeve. Along the top of its mouth are light-emitting photophores, which appear to attract plankton or small fish. Number 6. The Basking Shark. If there was a competition for the most terrifying-looking, harmless animal in the world, then we could well have a winner here. Measuring up to an enormous 13 meters in length, this is the second largest fish in the sea. But this mouth isn't for gulping down whole seals or humans. Basking sharks are gentle giants that feed on plankton, which they filter out of the water. This requires them to endlessly swim in their lethargic manner, with their massive set of jaws agape. Number 5. Saw sharks. The saw sharks consist of 8 species of related sharks found in the tropics around the world. As you may have guessed, their defining feature is their long, flat rostrum, or snout, which is lined with teeth which resemble a large saw. This saw can make up nearly a third of the saw shark's body length, which is rarely over 1.3 meters depending on the species. Saw sharks are much smaller than the similar-looking saw fish, which is a type of ray and can reach over 6 meters in length. Whilst this appendage looks somewhat cumbersome and unhelpful, it is actually essential to the saw shark's method of feeding. They use it to dig around for crustaceans on the sea floor and to disable prey with a slashing swipe. The saw can also be used for defense against predators. Number 4. The Frilled Shark. Once thought extinct, this prehistoric shark was caught on video in 2007 for the first time. Frilled sharks are rarely seen by man because they tend to live at depths of 1.5 kilometers. What makes frilled sharks interesting is that they have not evolved past the physical characteristics of prehistoric sharks from 350 million years ago. They have long, eel-like bodies, frills along the edges of their gills, and their teeth grow in vertical rows. In fact, frilled sharks are so bizarre that they might be the origin of human myths about sea serpents. Number 3. Angular rough shark. The angular rough shark is found in the eastern Atlantic, from Norway all the way down to South Africa, and throughout the Mediterranean at depths of between 60 and 700 meters. They can grow to 1.5 meters and they possess large spiny dorsal fins, which makes it easy for them to get caught in fishing nets. However, they have no commercial value in the Mediterranean, as local fishermen think that they're bad luck. They are usually thrown back into the sea. Number 2. Sea Megalodon. Megalodon isn't really a strange shark per se, just massive. Sea Megalodon is considered to be the largest shark that ever swam the seas of Earth, possessing a bite force of 40,000 pounds per square inch, giving it the strongest bite of any creature ever. Fossils attributed to Megalodon have been found dating from the early Miocene epoch, which began 23 million years ago, to the end of the Pliocene epoch, about 2.6 million years ago. The word Megalodon, a compound of Greek root words, means giant tooth. And number 1, the Goblin Shark. Described as pinkish, flabby, and plain terrifying looking, the Goblin Shark can measure over 6 meters in length. These sharks inhabit the twilight zone at depths greater than 100 meters, where they slowly hover, looking for prey to ambush. This is where that outlandish snout comes into play, as it is covered in special sensory organs which help detect the electrical fields of other organisms. As is the case with many of the strangest looking animals, the Goblin Shark is an evolutionary throwback, and little has changed for 125 million years. That brings us to the end of this episode. Please like, share, and subscribe for more exciting content on creatures and dinosaurs. Goodbye.